ready for my arrival, worm.
たとえ世界が全てを燃やそうとしても
Whew. Yo, let's get it.
We actually, I'm holding off on doing. Okay, so we pulled up one from Chat Music, and I'm holding off on doing it right now. But because the whole deal is I'm trying to get us lulled into like thinking about something else before we go back to it,
right?
And it's able to hit us just as because we were sitting here just pulling up the videos and we were already dying.
It's just like
just.
I don't know how to take y'all.
I feel bad. I felt really bad laughing at a couple of them, but
the masses have run wild on chat music, man.
Yes, it has. Oh gosh. So yeah, instead we're running into some Mr. Nightmare here. Meanwhile, back at the Hall of Justice.
There you go.
Yes, or in this case, meanwhile, back at the Legion of Doom.
Hey.
Yeah. So yeah, Mr. Nightmare sounds like a Superman villain. Like he would get in Superman's head with magic and like give him nightmares.
Yeah, he could take away the sun or some shit.
Yeah, he would just be like, I can't get any powers. I don't have the powers of the sun. The sun has been blotted out. No,
because I'm Mr. Night.
And then Mr. Nightmare just be like, that's right, Superman. There is no sun, and you will soon know what death is. You will suffer 1,000 deaths. And then Lois Lane comes up with like a cinder block or a brick and just smacks him in the back of the head, and he's just like,
foiled.
And then just all of a sudden, Superman's just like, wait, the sun, it has returned. And then Lois like, yes, Superman, he's been blocking out the sun in your mind. The sun's actually here.
It's actually already here.
Yeah. And Superman's just like, oh.
He's lay off that Henny, Super.
And then
Superman.
he grabs him, and Mr. Nightmare's like, oh, whoa, wait. Tell you what, how about I retire from being a supervillain, and instead I tell scary stories on the internet? And Superman's just like, you would do well with that. Go, live your dreams.
Carry on. Well, we'll see what you come up with.
Oh, yeah. 3 true last day of school horror stories. Last days of school, I would do everything I can to get the hell out, dude.
Oh, I'm gone.
Yeah. Because I remember like my last year I was in high school. I had a free period. Senior year. I had a free period where basically I could leave at like 1:30, and I did that every time.
Oh yeah, I mean senior year I was more or less out already.
Yeah. And I remember my last week of high school. I was like, I already graduated. I don't need to do anything else.
Did you graduate early?
I did not graduate early.
I didn't either.
But oh god! But I still had enough stuff done to where I literally, my teachers were just like, Nate, you don't
just
really
walk the halls, bro.
Yeah,
do what you do.
You ain't got to do nothing.
That's what I did.
Yeah,
I was in the office most of the time, bullshitting.
Oh, I was down in the art room, or I was in the auditorium.
Okay.
I was in the auditorium, like playing on the piano a little bit. Maybe down in the band room, like playing on the timpani and just like doing all that.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
Did you play drumline?
No, I did not play drumline. Didn't have the time.
I feel you.
But I do. I like playing drums. I mean, I enjoy like percussion a lot. It's just I never had the time to join up with band. But sometimes I'd be in the art room where my mom was, because my mom was a teacher. And she would just be like, shouldn't you be in math class right now? I'm like, Mom, they already told me I've completed everything I need to get an A. So
I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah,
so
I'm
I'm good. I'm golden.
No
and Mom was just like, all right, whatever. And I'd be in there sketching. My mom would come by. She'd be like, never mind. Like she'd see me drawing and instead of correct. Like I do not have my mom's artistic talent. I do not have a steady hand. My mom though, my God.
Oh, she nice with it?
Oh, really nice with
Oh,
it.
you gotta let me see something sometime.
Oh, absolutely. Dude, she won a county fair art contest. You had to be 18 to enter. She was 12.
Oh, wow.
She won. She drew something when she was 12. And then my grandma took it in and presented it as her own, won, and then with the prize money, gave it to my mom.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So at 12 years old, she was winning contests with 18 professionals.
Yeah, with
18-year-old
adults.
professionals. Yeah.
Anyway, let's get this back up on screen and let's have some fun. You ready? Let's go.
Ready, baby.
Jack Waldron. Or Waldman.
Waldman.
This happened a couple of years ago, right before school ended. It was the last day of 8th grade. It was exactly what you'd expect on the final day of middle school. Excitement and bittersweet goodbyes. Everyone was running around, scribbling signatures and cheesy messages in each other's yearbooks. My middle school was huge, easily over 1,000 students. So to keep things manageable, the teachers collected our yearbooks and passed them around to different classrooms, making sure everyone who wanted to got a chance to sign. I'm sure you could see how that could create problems.
It's overrated.
Anyone who wanted to could write whatever they wanted in anyone's yearbook. The teachers tried their best to prevent things from getting out of hand, but I knew a few
Worst thing I could see someone writing in my notebook, in my yearbook, I know where you live. To which I would write back, I know. Come get some.
Come get it, motherfucker.
Exactly, come get it. It's like, you want to talk smack, come get it.
kids who wrote some mean messages to people they didn't like. At the end of the day, when I got my yearbook back, I flipped through the pages eagerly, reading all the goofy notes from my friends. But as I scanned the pages, something caught my eye. There was a signature below the face of someone I had never seen before. His name was Samuel Robinson III, a name I'm gonna remember for as long as I live. The message he wrote was short, simple, and honestly a bit unsettling. It read, "Hags, I'll be seeing you again." I stared at the page, confused out of my mind. I'd never even spoken a single word to this Samuel kid. It wasn't like there was anything I could do about it, though. The school year was over, so I couldn't see him even if I wanted to. I just chalked it up to some weird kid being weird, or maybe an honest mistake. Either way, I stopped thinking about it. A few hours passed, and before I knew it, I was at home hosting a sleepover in my basement with my best friends Kevin, David, and Kieran. The four of us ate Doritos and played Call of Duty all night.
Okay, I know he's using AI imagery. This is AI generated. You want to know how I know this?
You need to fill me in, yeah.
Look at the size of the damn controllers.
Huge.
It's like, what are they doing? Playing them like this?
I was thinking.
It's like, dude, I know it could be like a perspective thing, but this is AI generated. Like it, I've seen AI generated stuff before, and this is AI generated.
It's about half the size of that couch cushion.
Yeah, look at that thing, dude. You throw that at somebody, that's a felony.
You're knocking them out.
Yeah. Also, what game console is this?
It's not one.
It ain't. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what that is.
Are they trying to pass that off as like a PlayStation 4?
I don't even see a PlayStation in there.
No, I don't either. And they're PlayStation controllers. Where's the PlayStation?
Oh,
that sort of looks like a silver Xbox down there, but even then, dude, like, where?
That'd be a stretch, yeah.
I don't know.
My parents' bedroom was 3 floors above us, so we didn't have to worry much about keeping the noise down. We were messing around on my dad's rowing machine sometime just before 2 when we heard a sharp knock at the storm door. The sound instantly silenced us. Who the hell would knock on the storm door? It must have been someone who either didn't want to wake my parents up or knew we were down there, or both. It didn't make sense. The person kept knocking in the same rhythmic pattern. I could tell Kieran was about to say something, and I couldn't stop him in time. In a loud and assertive voice, he asked who was there. I wanted to knock him out. He had basically broadcasted to whoever was out there that we were down there. My basement doesn't have any external windows, so it was unlikely that they had known we were down there, but now they did. After a long pause and no more knocking, a muffled voice answered back. He said, "Come around to the back door," in a high-pitched voice that genuinely sounded cheerful, like he was a friend of ours trying to join the sleepover. It was definitely a teenager's voice too, and it didn't sound like someone who was pretending to raise their voice either.
Somebody. It's like So, you ever been electrocuted? You're about to be.
In the face? No.
Yeah. I've already shocked myself in the face. Shocked myself on the chin with that.
Yo.
Just as a... And it hurt. It hurt. I could feel it in my teeth.
How much does that give?
I don't know. Let's see. Doesn't really say. No. I'm sure the wattage is out there somewhere. But it hurts.
I believe you.
It hurts. I've shocked myself with it enough to know it hurts.
I was pretty scared, I can't lie. My friends were seemingly unfazed though, like they thought it was somehow exciting that some random kid was outside my house. They insisted that I at least check it out, and even though I didn't want to, they pressured me into it. We crept upstairs, careful not to make too much noise. I approached the back door slowly, trying to ignore the pounding in my chest. Through the narrow glass pane beside it, I could see a shadowy figure standing under the dim light. I got a little closer, and his face came into view. My jaw nearly hit the floor when I realized who it was. It was him. It was that kid Samuel Robinson III who had signed my yearbook. My friends went to go open the door, God knows why, but I stopped them, saying I knew who it was. I explained to them what had happened, and that changed their mood a bit. Keep in mind, Sam was still standing outside while we were talking, and he could definitely see in at us. He must have noticed how freaked out I was, because he started motioning to the side of the house like he wanted me to go over to the window. You might be wondering why none of us were taking this situation more seriously. I honestly think it was because it wasn't like some older, strange man was harassing us. It was a kid from our own school. Still, I wasn't opening the door for him. Instead, I went over to my kitchen window and cracked it open just a tiny bit. My friends followed me and stood a little off to the side. He walked over to the window and I asked him what he wanted, telling him I recognized him from our yearbook. He said, "Oh, so you got my message," and introduced himself as Sam. Then he went on to say he always watched me from afar and that we could have been good friends. I agreed with him just so that I wouldn't piss him off, but there was 0% chance I would have been friends with this kid given any circumstances. I didn't want to press him right away.
I mean, I don't think I could be friends with a kid like that. I mean, you creeping, dude.
Showing up at my crib?
Yeah, you creeping.
We ain't even really talked, for real?
It's like, bro, you had every opportunity to just come and be like, "Hey, man, I'm Sam."
Yeah, what's good? What's cracking?
You're like, "Yeah, my name's Sam." It's like, "You have a PlayStation?" I have one too. What kind of games do you play? Like, just something simple.
This guy just beams on you like E.T.
Yeah. It comes down and he's just like, he's like, "Hey, is this your house?" Oh,
Whoa,
Jesus.
Whoa, get the fuck up out
Dude,
of
I don't
here.
even know your name. He's like, "And it's me, Sam." "Oh, yeah." It's like, "Oh, yeah, you signed my yearbook earlier." Dude, what are you doing in my house? How do you know where I live?
I love his name, Sam Wilson III. He's got this whole legit name.
Yeah.
But I had to
second
know.
and the first.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Be like, "Where's your dad and your
Yeah, hold on,
granddaddy?"
Where's the first at?
Yeah. Someone needs to get their ass whipped with a belt.
So I asked him how he knew
belt.
where I lived.
Yep.
He didn't respond, and I didn't know what to say. Before I could de-escalate the situation, David called him a creepy stalker and told him to piss off. Sam's smile disappeared.
Whoa.
He tilted his head like he didn't understand what David had just said. Then, just as quickly, his expression twisted into something I can only describe as hatred. He went from passive and honestly kind of friendly to aggressive and angry. He started screaming things at me, how he hated my friends and thought we should all die, how my ex hated me and random stuff he had no right knowing. He reached toward the window and tried to force it open, but I jammed it shut and locked it. He started snarling at the window and banging on it like an animal. He was 2 seconds away from shattering it, I'm telling you.
Oh, hell
We
no.
must have caused quite the commotion because my parents came rushing down the stairs, demanding to know why we had woken them up. That's when Sam ran away. I told my parents what happened as quickly as I could, and my dad raced outside in his underwear. He came back a few minutes later.
My dad's only done that once. And it was when there was this possum that was causing hell and like had attacked one of our cats. Yeah. My dad, as soon as like we were out there and we saw the possum like running away, big fat possum too, like big old thing. and he basically ran out there in flip flops in his underwear with like a little waist jacket on. Keep in mind, it was under freezing out there.
Oh, hell no.
And he literally, he grabbed his shotgun, bam, bam, fired at it, and we never saw the possum again. Not sure if he hit it.
He got splattered, dog.
Yeah, but my dad literally was just like, think I got him?
See, I'm gonna need at least some, like, shorts or something. I can't just do, like, bare boxers on the...
Yeah, well...
Especially if I'm going after a possum.
Well, my dad literally was just like, as soon as he did that, he put the gun back up like this, he was just like, whew, I get my ass back inside. He just hopped in back inside.
It's like that heat ain't warming you up, bro.
It's just like, Dad, it's like, you alright, Dad? And he's just like, I'm good, son. Whew. It's like freezing out there.
Damn possums.
Yeah. Attacking our cat.
Motherfuckers.
It's like,
saying he had no idea where the kid went.
Yes.
It's so scary. It's scary in itself. I'm like, no, hell no.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Possums playing dead and everything. They're just like...
And they just wake up and yell.
I'm not sure why, but my parents didn't call the police. They just told us to go back to sleep and they deal with the school the following morning, just to give the kid the benefit of the doubt. The next morning, they contacted the school. That's when we learned the disturbing truth. Sam had been expelled a few weeks before the year finished, and he shouldn't have ever been at the school on the last day. Apparently, the yearbooks were printed before his expulsion, which explained why his picture was still included. That meant he had snuck into the school somehow just to write me that message, which freaked me out beyond belief. Despite working with the school to find out more, nobody could track Sam down. It was like he and his parents didn't exist. The whole thing was a pretty big deal, but the school did what they could to keep things under wraps. To this day, I still have no idea how he knew where I lived. That's what freaks me out the most. The running theory is that he was a mentally challenged and troubled young boy who took a strange liking to me for whatever reason, and then he stalked me for who knows how long. My parents were worried for weeks. It's something we don't talk about anymore because it's just uncomfortable, but living in that same house has never felt the same ever since.
Think he's still watching them from afar?
I hope not.
I'm gonna get you.
But stranger things have happened in the world. I don't know.
Mentally challenged kind of like speaks to it though. Like I could believe that.
I could too. I mean, either that or like aggressively bipolar.
Yeah.
Because I've encountered that. Like there was a sweet old man that walked into where we were, where I was working. It was at movie gallery. You know, like old movie rental store.
Yeah.
And this old man walked in. He was like, "Yeah, I was wondering, do you have this movie here?" I was like, "Oh yes, sir. Yeah, we'll go over here and we'll get it with you." And we get it for him. And I'm in the midst of checking him out, and he was just like, in the middle of me checking him out, he was like, "I'm sorry, I forgot to mention I have a coupon." I was like, "Oh, okay, sir. Let me restart the transaction real quick." He's like, "How long is it going to take?" It's like, "It won't take but a moment, sir." And my computer froze up, and I was just like, "I'm so sorry, sir. I have to do this." And he was like, "I don't really like being held up like this." Like, "Sir, I apologize. I'll honor the coupon and I'll give you extra money off on this because of the inconvenience. I'm so sorry." And I turned around to go back to look through the manual on like the restarting process and like getting the program back up, and then all of a sudden he just goes, "Don't turn your back on me, son."
Oh hell!
And I was like, "Sir, I'm so," and he's like, "You know what? Forget about it." Reaches over, grabs his coupon, and just like bolts out. And I'm just like,
"Hey, who pissed in his Cheerios, man? Come on, man."
It's like, man,
who fruited his loop? You know what I'm saying?
And I actually it was Misty who said it. Misty was just like, "Must have lost his Viagra medication."
Yo. They won't wake up.
Yeah, Misty. I can just see him, bipolar as hell, angry looking down, like, "Wake up,
Don't you turn your back on me, damn it." He was beating something dick. Numbness.
Oh, gosh. But Misty was my my manager there. She was cool, dude. She got me the job there. She liked me a lot. She thought I was a good employee.
Yeah.
If I could work for her again, I would, because she did great work.
Video store sounds like a cool job.
Oh, it was. I worked at a couple, and the movie gallery experience was way better because, dude, it was so much fun there because we would receive video games up to 2 weeks early, and we could take them home and play them for like 2 weeks before they ever released. I did that for Halo 3. I did that for Halo 3. I swear to God. Dude, oh, that was the worst thing ever. I put Halo 3 into my Xbox. I push it closed. The opening cutscene happens where Master Chief falls from the sky and goes like across the screen. The screen goes like really bright color, and then all of a sudden, screen just goes black. I'm like, I look down at my Xbox, red ring of death.
Foiled!
So I called up my cousin, and I didn't tell my cousin why. I was like, dude, you got to bring your Xbox. He's like, what happened to your Xbox? Like, it red ringed on me, dude. Bring your Xbox. Trust me, you're going to want to see it. So he comes up, and as soon as I pull out Halo 3, he's like, he runs over to the TV. He's like plugging everything in. He's like, let's go. And then me and him co-opted Halo 3 all the way through. That was so much fun.
They gotta bring Halo back, man.
There's
too big of a community.
Yeah, well, Halo Infinite is okay, but the fact that they didn't prioritize like co-op, they literally said co-op. Yeah, we're not gonna put that in, and then
what's the point?
As soon as Microsoft heard that, they're like, yeah, that person is fired, and we're putting someone else in charge that's going to prioritize co-op. And ever since they put that person in charge, Halo Infinite has been like on the up and up in terms of its quality.
They still do tournament play, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
They still do tournament play. Halo. If they do make another Halo game, I'm wondering what the hell they're gonna do.
Who's gonna be the lead director? Yeah. I guess.
Well, I don't know, but
where were they last handled?
Bungie's
not it.
No, 343
Industries. 343. Okay.
Yeah, that's the studio that Microsoft created to continue the Halo franchise after Bungie moved on. Because Bungie made 4 games: Halo 1, 2, 3, and Reach. And then after that, they basically pieced out.
They can't find some enthused developers, man. Like there's money to be made. That's all I'm gonna say.
Diversity hires, bro.
Oh, fuck.
Well, yeah. Which again, I ain't against diversity of ideas, but if you're thinking, oh yeah, this person who's never developed a game before, but because they're a different skin color than the last person that directed, it's gonna be great.
It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. I can't. Ah, man.
I hate that. Yeah, I hate that shit with a passion. Yeah. But anyway,
let's go to story 2.
Back to it.
Was that a real story, by the way?
Some of these are real, yes.
Okay.
Some of these people actually do attach, like, notes that lead to, like, IRL news stories about stuff.
Okay.
Some of these are real, some of these are not. But you got to take each of them with a pinch of salt.
A grain of salt, yeah.
It's just like... It's
well,
like,
he's doing a good job.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Nightmare does great work. I love Mr. Nightmare's work.
My friend Garrett is a little unhinged. And when I say a little, I mean a lot. He's one of those guys that goes around boasting about how crazy and aggressive he is, like it's cool or something. He's constantly getting into fights, doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut, and spends more time in the gym than anywhere else, including his own house. There are actually 5 stories about him I can choose to tell, but the scariest one by far is the one you're about to hear. It also directly involves me, and I feel much more comfortable telling my own story rather than someone else's. This happened a couple of weeks ago, which was also coincidentally the last day of senior year, May 2019. The graduation ceremony wasn't scheduled for a few days, so even though we were done, we still had to stick around. It's tradition for all the graduating seniors to get plastered on the last day of classes, so that's exactly what we did. There's this huge clock tower in the center of campus where all the seniors convene.
Only senior year? Bro, I was getting turned up like basically for like even before I was a senior. I was like 12 when I first started.
Like, y'all wasted 6 semesters. Y'all only got the last 2?
Exactly, yeah.
To get drunk, which is exactly where we were at 10 p.m. It was packed. There were over 1,000 people crammed into that one courtyard.
My God.
It was bittersweet. For me, at least. But I think everyone was relieved at having finished finals, which are pretty tough at my school. There are a handful of other senior traditions I could tell you about, but I'm gonna try to keep things succinct. There were 6 of us. It was me, C, T, R, N, and obviously Garrett. I don't think the rest of my friends would be comfortable with their names out there, so I'm just calling them by their initials. I should also really quickly mention that we lived off campus, meaning we had to walk through the city to get home. There are a decent amount of homeless people in that city, so it's not rare to encounter some of them late at night. Anyway, we were heading back home from the clock tower when Garrett did some Garrett stuff. Well, it wasn't really his fault, but that's neither here nor there. As we were crossing the street, some random homeless guy ran up to our group and started tweaking. Usually, the homeless people around here keep to themselves since they're all tripping on drugs and didn't notice their own surroundings. But this guy clearly wanted to engage. He was just standing in the middle of the crosswalk, yelling things at us like he was a bridge troll protecting the other side of the street. We laughed a little and started walking in a wide semicircle around him, as we didn't want to piss him off or antagonize him. Well, everyone but Garrett, that is. Instead of disengaging, Garrett started yelling things back at the guy, telling him to get the F out of the street and to stop harassing strangers. The tweaker didn't like that and took a few aggressive steps toward him. That's when the rest of us jumped in to prevent an altercation from happening. We must have intimidated the tweaker because he stopped charging and went back to just yelling things. I pulled Garrett out of the street, trying to get him to behave, but he pushed my hand away. Before any of us could do anything, he charged full speed at the tweaker and screamed, "I'm crazy." The tweaker started running away, which caused Garrett to stop charging and start laughing. I know it's bad, but the scene was genuinely funny, as messed up as it was. It was like running full speed into a flock of birds and watching them scatter. We started walking towards our house after that.
You think the tweaker was on meth, crack, pills?
Maybe all of them at the same time.
I think the proper response is just yes, all of them. Just yeah.
It sounded like downtown Kingsport. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's
yeah,
the people over there.
Yeah. Man.
Just talking to them.
But after a few minutes, we realized
Same thing in Bristol, dude. Like, there's some back alleys in Bristol. You'll like see people back there. Oh, dude. You want to know like there was actually in JC. You know what? There's people roaming around. You know what they were handing out? They were handing out Narcan.
Really? Just handing it out?
Handing it out. Full box of it. They were just like, "Hey, you guys want some Narcan?" I'm like,
is it lemonade? Like,
no, I don't need no Narcan. and then they were just like, "Okay, you're not gonna take? No, I'm not gonna take anything tonight." Okay, I'm like,
man. She was running like a little pharmacy over there, ain't she?
Basically, yeah. Basically,
got some spare Narcan for you.
I got some Narcan.
If you're running low.
It's like, I don't need it.
I'm so good.
I'm good. I'm great. No need for that shit.
I'm going to Street Eats.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, man. I was mad that remember the dude, I don't know, Johnson City, there used to be a hot dog vendor.
He's
like,
done, yeah.
I know. I heard about it. I was like, no.
Nah.
Damn.
Foiled.
Because, man, like, people running up and stealing his shit. Like,
is that what happened?
Yeah, literally. Like, I was told about it. Like, a person who worked at Newman's literally was just like, oh yeah, he doesn't come around here. I'm like, really? Why not? He's like, too many people stealing his stuff. Like, they run up, steal his hot dogs. They run up, steal his money. They run up, steal his tip jar.
That's pitiful, man.
I'm like, that's pathetic, dude.
They say it's getting rough out there.
This guy is out here providing a service. He's been doing it for over 20 years.
Oh yeah,
and
he was making a great living.
Yeah, over 20 years, and you chase him off because you're just like, you think, oh, he can afford it. It's like, no, he can't.
That's not how it works.
Bro. No, he's making a living. He's earning a living, man. Like, stop being destructive.
Basically,
stop destroying stuff in the city, man. Makes no sense.
Can we live? That's why we can't have nice things.
Indeed.
Tweaker was following us. When he caught us looking back at him, he started yelling things about how we had made a big mistake and how he was going to, quote, call a niche, whatever that meant. We started heckling the guy back, hoping he'd get scared and leave. But I'm pretty sure we only intensified whatever tantrum he was having. Look, I'm not proud of everything that happened that night, but we were about to graduate from a very prestigious university and had been celebrating all night with alcohol, so we weren't in the right headspace to properly evaluate the situation.
Yeah,
About a block away
makes
from our
sense.
house, we realized the guy was still following, albeit a little further back now. I told the rest of the guys I didn't feel comfortable leading him to our house, and the other guys agreed. So naturally, Garrett took off toward the homeless guy before the group could come to a consensus. He again started sprinting at the guy, who once again fled in the opposite direction. Garrett turned and jogged back towards us, and we all jogged up the street. We thought that was it. We made it back to our house, pretty confident we hadn't been followed that time. I'm not even gonna go into what we did back at the house. Let's just say it was a level of degeneracy I won't be approaching anytime soon.
When they train somebody.
Nah, they were butt fucking each other. I'm just,
I mean, it's so real wild. Like, what
I
the
mean,
fuck was y'all doing?
I've paid witness to peak degeneracy. Trust me, ain't nothing can shock me.
I would agree with that. Like if you walked in on any, well, I don't know about that actually.
I've walked in on some pretty heinous stuff, dude. I walked in. I'm not joking. Like bunch of big sweaty dudes, just like 7 or 8 of them, and one nasty ass bitch in the middle of the room.
Oh, whoa,
Just,
yeah.
the-
Wow.
and all them standing around, all the dudes standing around, butt ass naked, and just like all of them waiting their turn. I'm just like,
Yo.
I was like, you gotta be.
I gotta make my wave.
I walked in on that, paid witness to it for about half a second. I was like, it took a minute for my brain to process it because I was just so shocked seeing all these naked dudes standing there, and I was just like, I was walked in, and was like, oh, God,
Dog, the foul. Oh, I didn't even think about
the
smell.
the stench,
Oh,
yeah, mixed between
like, I can't
Just-
hang around none of y'all no more.
a mix between ball sweat and an Axe body spray. It was terrible.
Foul coochie.
Yeah,
Ugh.
the foulest.
The foulest.
Yeah, but I remember I was walking away from that whole thing. I'm like, God, I hate these fucking frat parties, bro. I fucking hate these frat parties.
It would be a frat.
Yeah,
It is what it is.
and dude, I DJ'd those parties, dude. I DJ'd a lot of those parties. I got paid pretty good. I had a tip jar out. They gave me tips and all
Oh,
that.
fair enough.
Yeah, and I liked it because they also gave me free alcohol.
Oh,
and
fair enough. I
also,
mean, shit.
also the DJ. Ladies love the DJ. 'cause
Hell no, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They do.
you can speak to that.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. So here I am, just doing my thing downstairs, just DJing it up, and then I remembered it was about 2 a.m, and some people were starting to leave, and I was like, okay, I gotta go use the bathroom real quick. Throw on autoplay, walk upstairs, and I tell my boy Miller to watch the thing, make sure no one fucks with it. So I go upstairs, and I've never used the bathroom in this place. I don't know where the bathroom is. And I can't get anyone to tell me where the bathroom is. So I'm walking around, I'm opening doors, I'm like, it's a dorm room. Oh!
But I'm just a DJ.
And then I was just like, okay. And I look at the end of the hall, and I see a door cracked open up, it's the bathroom. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Use the bathroom, go back downstairs, have a couple drinks, and forget about it.
So it's like you were a DJ and then you had to play Resident Evil real quick, checking every room.
Yeah. Kind of, sort of. It was a big house, dude. It was a big house. They called it the mansion because it had 12 rooms in it.
Oh yeah.
It had 12 rooms, and people who stayed there were all a bunch of rich kids.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah, that don't make the situation any
No,
better.
not at all.
It just makes
but
it worse.
It just creates the scenario, though. I know exactly where you're at.
Uh-huh.
I've never been there, but I know.
You know the sitch.
Yes, sir.
Ugh.
I can't even tell you what time it was. I was stumbling out of the front door to pick up my DoorDash when I noticed something odd. The side gate that led into our backyard was wide open. It was especially weird because we used this little strand of twine to keep it shut, so the door being open meant that someone had deliberately undone it. I instantly made the connection. It was probably that guy from earlier. I had enough sense to connect the dots, but I guess I didn't have enough sense to react accordingly. The smart thing would have been to alert my friends, but my drunken self decided to investigate. I put the DoorDash on the porch and went around the house.
No, dude.
Yeah, I'm not feeling that.
No. I'm getting my boys out there.
Straight up.
I'm getting my boys out there, and we're walking around, and I'm giving each of them a weapon. Be
No
like,
question.
you take the baseball bat, you take the slapjack, you bring the brass knucks, and I'll be up front. I'll be up front with a shield or something.
Captain America shit.
Yeah, just like, all right.
Trying my best to walk straight. I turned the corner into the backyard, and before I could even see, I felt a rope around my throat.
No.
I flailed around wildly, but it was no use. Someone was strangling me from behind, and there was nothing I could do about it.
Damn.
I felt the rope's frayed ends digging into my throat as he tightened it with all his strength. I genuinely thought I was gonna die. With all my might, I swung my legs backward, and he lost his footing. The two of us hit the ground, and I could breathe again, but he was still on top of me. In a fit of rage, he clawed at my face, and I could feel blood streaming down my cheeks.
Oh.
I threw...
At that point, that's where things just... Okay, the rope around the neck is one thing, but the clawing on the face, at that point, immediately going to the hospital, getting every blood test done.
Definitely.
Like, I don't want to get MRSA. I don't want to get any of the shit that this guy's got.
Yeah, what? He brought SARS and shit.
Yeah. Fuck my life up.
Threw him off of me, and he got to his feet before running out of sight. I'll try and keep things short from here on out. I ended up having to go to the hospital that night. The cuts weren't bad, but I needed a bunch of shots to
Yeah, I
protect me
bet you
against
did.
any kind of diseases the guy might have had.
Yeah.
The police were less than helpful, and since I was moving out a week later, there wasn't much I could do either. The worst part about the whole thing was that I had visible cuts in all my grad photos. Garrett felt so bad he ended up taking me to Nobu, but I never held anything against him. I just hope he's learned his lesson about not antagonizing people who have nothing to lose.
All is forgiven because of the trip to Nobu.
No, I couldn't do that. I couldn't. Don't get me wrong. Nobu sounds nice.
Yeah, it does sound right.
Sounds very nice. But
Does that clear the
I don't
plate?
know.
I don't
I don't think so.
Nah.
Also, JT. Oh shit. What? My boy JT. Is this one of your stories there, bud? Remember the dude that's up here with me, like live streaming?
No question.
Yeah,
Yeah, no
our
question.
lead singer.
Yeah.
Yeah, JT. Is this you, bud?
This is you?
Is this you, JT?
You doing some side work?
Yeah. You posting stories on Reddit? Is it gonna be about me?
Oh shit.
We'll see. We'll see.
What if it starts off? My friend Nate. No.
Yeah, my friend Nate is an idiot, and I'm just like, yes, I am.
Motherfucker.
There's no denying that. All right, here we go.
When I was in the 7th grade, there was this kid named Sven in my homeroom.
Sven.
To put it mildly, he was a bit strange. He was one of those kids who didn't socialize with anyone else, even though people frequently tried to include him in things. I didn't have all my classes with him, but from what I remember, he would always sit in the same spot in every room, the back corner opposite the door. Without fail, he'd show up to school in the exact same outfit every day, cargo shorts and an oversized burgundy hoodie. He obviously didn't talk much, but when he did have to answer a question or read a passage, he had a really deep voice that lots of other kids made fun of him for. I don't recall him having any friends at all, which made sense. This one time, my friend Tyler caught him slicing worms during recess, which I'm pretty sure he ended up getting detention for. Speaking of recess, Sven would spend the whole period by himself next to the fence that bordered the woods. He never played any games or did anything even remotely kid-centric. He'd just stand next to that fence doing God knows what. Some of my friends claim to have seen him talking to someone on the other side, but I've personally never seen that, so I'm not going to spread potential lies. I'm trying to think of other things about him worth mentioning. He had several quirks and some other weird habits typical of any strange middle schooler, but none relevant to the story I'm going to tell. This happened on the last day of school. I went to a pretty big middle school with lots of kids per grade, meaning there were a ton of concurrent classes with students from the same year happening at all times. Because of that, there was this last day of school tradition where students from the same year would sneak into and sit in random classrooms to try and mess with the teachers. I'm pretty sure the teachers were privy to this and played along to amuse the kids, but that's neither here nor there. I don't remember the exact time this happened, but I do remember I was in one of the few classes I shared with Sven. Everything was exactly as it had been all day. The entire class was mixed up with random students that were supposed to be elsewhere. I was kind of a stickler for rules growing up. That's just how I was raised, so I never participated in any of the tomfoolery. My friends all did though, so I was often alone in all of my classes since they went to other rooms together. This was one of those times. All my friends had left the room, and the only kid I knew even a little, coincidentally, was Sven. Sven was acting stranger than usual that day. That's something I remember distinctly. I can't fully remember what we were learning or doing in class, but I do remember that Sven was tapping his foot pretty aggressively, something he never did. He was also constantly looking around the room, as if searching for someone or trying to keep tabs on someone. I don't think he was watching me, but I couldn't be sure. The other thing I remember was that there were a lot more kids in the class I didn't recognize. Granted, one or two wasn't anything out of the ordinary since everything was switched around, but the odds that there were so many students I had never even seen before were slim. At some point, the teacher, I'm pretty sure her name was Miss Bell, told us to get into groups of 3 or 4 to work on some kind of end-of-year reflection worksheet. Nothing serious. Most kids just used it as an excuse to talk and mess around. At one point, Miss Bell walked over to her desk, picked up the classroom phone, and turned her back to us. A few minutes later, another teacher showed up, I think from the room next door. They stepped just outside the classroom door and started whispering. It wasn't a long conversation, maybe half a minute, but something about it felt off, like they were trying not to cause a scene. I could tell something was up. Miss Bell looked uneasy. That's honestly the best way I can describe her demeanor. After they finished talking, Miss Bell and the other teacher came back into the room. They didn't say anything to the class. They just walked over to a few specific kids and knelt down beside their desks. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but whatever it was quiet. Clearly like they didn't want the rest of us to notice. A minute later, those same kids got up and followed the teachers into the hallway. No one really reacted. I felt like I was the only one who even noticed what was going on. Miss Bell came back a few minutes later, alone this time. She didn't say anything about the kids who left, just sat back down at her desk and started shuffling papers like nothing had happened. But right after she did, the fire alarm went off. Miss Bell didn't really react, like she knew it was gonna happen. She told us to line up and head outside, and we joined the rest of the school out by the field behind the building. As usual, everyone was grouped by homeroom, so I ended up standing with a bunch of familiar faces again. But while we were all standing there, I looked back at the school for no reason, just out of habit I guess, and I could have sworn I saw something move in one of the second-story windows. It was quick, and maybe it was just a reflection or a shadow or something, but it felt wrong. The school was supposed to be completely empty. I kept it to myself, but I was really scared when it came to re-entering the building. We never went back inside, though. Before the alarm even stopped ringing, we started hearing sirens. A few minutes later, police cars started pulling into the lot. Not just 1 or 2, but a whole line of them. They didn't waste time either. Officers jumped out and rushed straight into the building. No one explained anything. Teachers just told us to stay calm and wait. After a while, someone came around and said school was being let out early. No buses, we had to call our parents. We were never told what actually happened. My parents ended up telling me what happened, or at least what the school had told them. They told me that a bunch of kids who didn't even go to our school had somehow gotten in. A rumor went around that they were planning to set the place on fire. Apparently, Miss Bell had discovered some very alarming tools in one of the kids' backpacks, and the school tried flushing everyone out with the fire drill. The details are still a bit fuzzy, so I'm hoping I'm explaining everything properly. The part that really stuck with me was what my mom said at the end, that the kids had been let in by Sven through the side fence during recess. The whole thing was so bizarre, it's still difficult to process even now. I never saw Sven again.
What?
Well, we tried to bring in a bunch of other people and do some bad stuff.
Man, Sven, dude, what the hell?
That ain't cool.
No.
That ain't cool at all, dude.
No.
No.
I don't know what to think about it, bro. Like,
Me neither. That's messed up, dude.
what do you think the best one was? I like the first one, I think.
The first one for me is probably the best.
Yeah, I think that was the best one.
Yeah, I think so. Just homie outside the window, just
That was creepy.
being like, you
That freaked me
shouldn't
the
have
fuck
done
out.
that. You shouldn't have done that. Yeah.
I ain't never. What you got to say, man?
Well, I'll say that if any of these stories are true, the perpetrators in these videos or in these stories need help. That one kid in the first story needs help. The dude in the old homeless dude, he needs help.
Oh yeah.
And then here, Sven needs help. Good Lord.
Where do you find these people, man?
It's Reddit, dude. The world's a big, scary place. And there's a lot of creeps out there.
A lot of mystery too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things with variables that are unknown.
That it is.
Sweet.
Well, that was
a fun one.
Yeah, that was Mr. Nightmare with 3 true last day of school horror stories. I mean, let us know if you all had any bad experiences on a last day of school, whether that be preschool, middle school, high school, college, or university for our like European audiences.
I feel like I got away smooth, man. I don't think I've had anything that necessarily sticks out like that.
I've had like mostly smooth like last days and stuff like that. I've had some hairy days of like stuff in between. The one I'll never forget was my boy Clint. Me and him, we were hanging out and all that, and then all of a sudden, he, I hear that Clint has been arrested. I'm like,
Shit.
yeah, and it was like later that day, and then I was just like, oh my gosh, what happened? And then basically the police showed up to this girl's place, and they wanted me to come in. They basically brought me there for questioning and everything. And well, basically what happened was this girl was accusing Clint of doing something very bad.
Okay.
Yeah, they were a couple and then they broke up, and she was accusing him of doing something very bad. And basically, everyone was just like listening, they were listening in and all that to like what she was saying, and she's like, yeah, it happened on this day right here. This is when it happened. And as soon as she said the day, I started laughing. And people were just like, how could you laugh at this? It's just like, because it'd be pretty hard for Clint to do what she's saying that he did if he was in Washington, D.C. with me. Here's the pictures and everything. Look at it on Facebook, too. It's like,
yeah, I'm like, what is this?
like she's lying. She's capping.
out of
Like,
her head.
yeah, she's out of her mind. And then they asked her about that, and she's like, oh, I actually meant this day. And then it's like,
Yeah, right.
And here's the thing: the texts that she were talking about didn't line up at all.
She just want attention?
I guess, I don't know. Needless to say, Clint was let go, and no charges were filed or anything like that. It was just a nightmare.
Shout
dude.
out Clint, man, getting away.
Yeah, getting out
Having that
unscathed.
alibi ready.
Yeah.
For boy Nate helping you out.
Well, I mean, I ain't gonna let some bullshit slide
Hell
like that.
no.
Like, look, if I found out that Clint did something like that, then yeah, then I'm gonna help the authorities.
Well, what's the motivation behind lying about that? That's kind of where I get like tired.
My whole deal is just she wanted to get back at Clint because they broke up. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, she wanted to get back at him because they broke up, and that's that. But hey, it is what it is. All right. Well, anyway, everybody, hopefully
What y'all
y'all
think of these stories?
Yeah, what y'all think? Like, let us know which one was y'all's favorite, and if y'all got any scary stories of like what happened at school or a last day of school thing, let us know. But anyway, guess till next time, everybody. Signing off. I'm Nate.
You're drawn up, man.
Y'all be good people. Take care. Peace.
Peace.